everybody. A while back we talked about beefing up your word count if your manuscript is a bit too short, and now we're flipping the script. I'm tackling 10 tips for trimming your word count if your story is way too long. Writers typically come in two forms, underwriters and overwriters. Underwriters create their first draft in the most bare bones form. The story doesn't have any meat. Whereas overwriters create way too much content. They have to delete words, sentences, and sometimes even entire scenes. Sometimes writers, especially underwriters, assume bigger is better. That's what she said. Unfortunately, that's not necessarily the case, because the longer a book is, the more expensive it is to publish, at least in physical form. All that paper costs money, which means a hefty book may be a hard sell to traditional publishers. And if you're self-publishing, a hefty book is going to require a higher price in order to cover production costs. This is not to say you should write a short book under all circumstances, but your readers shouldn't be slogging through sentences, paragraphs, or chapters that have no benefit to the overall plot. If overwriting is your problem, I've got the solution. These 10 tips pinpoint the biggest problems overwriters have and how to overcome them so you can produce the cleanest, clearest manuscript possible. Let's get into it. Today's topic is requested by one of my patrons over on Patreon, Ren Keeling. Ren enjoyed my underwriters video so much and wanted me to give the same attention to overwriters, and I am happy to do so. I'm a recovering overwriter myself, and these tips have saved my ass on more than one occasion. While you're here, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I post new videos on Wednesdays, and if you want to be alerted as soon as I upload, ring that bell. You totally want to do just that because I have my very first nonfiction writing craft book, Shut Up and Write the Book, coming out in a few months or so, and I talk about underwriters and overwriters in that book. So definitely subscribe to my channel, ring the bell, and be on the lookout for Shut Up and Write the Book. While we're talking about books, The Savior's Champion and The Savior's Sister are available in ebook, paperback, hardback, and audiobook. They're available at all major retailers, so if you want to check out this dark fantasy romance, it's an award winner, it was a #1 bestseller on Amazon, definitely do so. It's linked below. Now I'm breaking down my 10 tips for trimming your word count to its most vital points. Number 1, filter words. A filter word is a word that filters the action of the novel through the main character's experience, and overwriters are notorious for using the shit out of them. See, feel, think, realize, hear. All of these are filter words. Sometimes they're unavoidable and you gotta use them, but more than half the time, you don't need them. When overused, filters distance the reader from the story and ruin the immersion, on top of adding a bunch of useless words to the story. Fortunately, filter words are really easy to delete. She heard birds chirping overhead could instead be written as birds chirped overhead. He felt mud caking his body could be written as mud caked his body. See how easy it is? In one quick step, you have eliminated a filter word, improved your story's immersion, and trimmed down your word count. Number 2, repetition. If your manuscript is surpassing 200,000 words, I can guarantee you are repeating the shit out of yourself. Back in my critiquing days, I once read a section of someone's way too long manuscript, and in a single chapter, they referenced the main character's sea green eyes 6 times. We get it, they're green. I'm not saying you should only mention a character's eyes once, but 6 times in one chapter? It doesn't create a better visual, it just annoys the reader and comes across as self-indulgent. Another time I read a love confession that was over a page long, which is really unnecessary because there's only so many ways you can say I love you. Go through your manuscript and look for these useless moments of repetition. I know you got them. Delete the repeats that add no value to your story and move on. Number 3, filler. If you're an overwriter, you've got filler in your story. I'm sorry, but it's true. Filler is defined as any chapter or scene that does not move your plot forward in some way. For example, I once read a romance novel that had an entire chapter devoted to the main character's workout routine. This did not pertain to any of the plots or subplots, which means it's filler. That doesn't mean you can't mention the character's workout routine, that's fine, but we don't need an entire scene or chapter devoted to her reps and heart rate. It's totally unnecessary. But Jenna, this scene isn't pointless, it's character development. What if I told you your character is supposed to develop through the plot? If you're not sure if a scene is filler, it's simple enough to figure out. Imagine the scene has been removed from your manuscript entirely. Can the story still be told with ease, or have you completely fucked up the trajectory of your plot? If your answer is the latter, the scene can stay, and if it's the former, the scene's gotta go. Number 4, passive voice. The wall was covered in pictures versus pictures covered the wall. He was chased by dogs versus dogs chased him. In both of these examples, the first sentence is passive voice and the second one is active voice. Passive voice is typically something you want to avoid. It usually reads less clear than active voice, plus it loads up your sentence with tons of extra words. In rare occasions, the passive voice reads as better than active voice, or passive voice cannot be avoided, but again, this is uncommon. Locate all the instances of passive voice in your manuscript. If it can be changed to active voice, I guarantee you will cut down your word count. Number 5, the extras. A lot of writers are addicted to teeny tiny words that aren't necessary to their sentences. The most common addictive extra is the word that. I'm sure you can think of tons of situations where that is necessary. Please don't think I am telling you to delete every appearance of that in your book. It's just quite often that sneaks into sentences when it's not needed. For example, take the sentence, "She wished that she could fly." Guess which word doesn't need to be there? That. She wished she could fly is grammatically correct. Stop throwing in words that don't belong. Number 6, pacing. Is your story reading at too slow of a pace? Chances are you've added too many words that don't belong. To quicken the pace, utilize shorter sentences. That doesn't mean all of your sentences need to be short, but a good chunk of them should be. Additionally, learn when to tell and when to show. We don't need unimportant details like transitions or time skips shown to us. Instead, utilize tell and move on. But most importantly, stop painting every teeny tiny detail, especially in fast-paced scenes. Say you're writing a fight scene. We don't need every single maneuver explained to us. This will only bog down the pace and make it seem as though the fight scene is happening in slow motion. Instead, describe the moves that matter, the action that creates the biggest punch. He grabbed the hilt of his sword with his right hand, raising it forward and piercing the knight through the belly. Who fucking cares which hand he used or the direction of his sword? Get those extra descriptions out of here. He grabbed his sword and pierced the knight through the belly. It illustrates the same idea, but at a more exciting pace and with fewer words. Number 7, description. Setting the scene is imperative for every scene you write, but you can do this without barfing up useless descriptions. We don't need the square footage of your character's house or the placement of every piece of furniture. We don't need the blueprint of a castle or the exact height of its walls. These details do not create better visuals, they just confuse and overwhelm the reader. Instead, utilize your 5 senses and describe color, texture, and ambiance. Is the furniture made of polished mahogany? Are the walls covered in pink floral wallpaper? These descriptions are visual and transportive, plus they don't overwhelm the reader and they don't bog your manuscript down with useless words. Number 8, adverbs. The road to hell is not paved in adverbs, but adverbs certainly won't get you into heaven. More often than not, adverbs describe actions, and the reason they're frowned upon is because actions usually describe themselves. You don't need to say that a character ran quickly, because running is quick in itself. That's the entire point. Overwriters tend to abuse adverbs, so I encourage you to go through your manuscript, highlight every adverb, and ask yourself, is this necessary? If a character is speaking flirtatiously, you don't need the adverb because the dialogue itself should make the flirting clear. But if they're smiling flirtatiously, the adverb might be helpful because there are a zillion different kinds of smiles and we don't know which one they're using. Now, if a character walks flirtatiously, maybe there's a better verb you can use here that would eliminate the adverb entirely. For example, strut, swagger, or sachet. As you can see, there are some situations where an adverb is necessary, but most of the time, a good, powerful verb will do the trick. This will improve your writing, create clearer visuals, and trim your word count. Number 9, info dumping. This is for all the Sanderson wannabes out there. If you're a fantasy or sci-fi writer and your manuscript is way too long, I'm gonna wager you have some info dumps scattered about, especially in the first few chapters. An info dump is exactly what it sounds like. It's a massive chunk of exposition that is used to explain some facet of the world or its history. Sometimes info dumps can't be avoided, but they should be in limited supply, and you should make them as short as possible. If you've surpassed a page, you need to shut the fuck up real quick. If you're not sure if your info dump is necessary, ask yourself the same thing you did with filler. If you removed this section, could your reader still follow your manuscript without issue or confusion? If the answer is yes, delete the dump. Remember, you only need to explain the world or its history if it pertains to the plot. If it doesn't, it's gotta go. And last but not least, number 10, the roundabout. AKA writing your sentences in the most roundabout manner. She extended her arm so that she could pick up her glass of wine. So many words to explain the simplest action. You don't need that shit. First of all, we've got some unnecessary words in there. So that she could. You don't need that. So she could is perfectly fine on its own. Similarly, her glass of wine could instead be written as her wine glass. Same message, fewer words. But even with those changes, this sentence is way too roundabout. She extended her arm so she could pick up her wine glass. Listen, if she's picking up her wine glass, we can already assume she's extending her arm. No one is picking up a wine glass like this. Hold on. Oh. Okay, we got it. We got the wine. Thus, this sentence could be written as, she picked up her wine glass. Not only is it shorter, it's a lot clearer because readers aren't slogging through unnecessary words. You're getting to the point, which creates a clearer visual, trims your word count, and allows your reader to get to the content that matters. So that's all I got for you today. Thank you to Ren for requesting today's topic. If you'd like the chance to have a video topic dedicated to you, or if you want access to tons of other awards, check me out on Patreon. You get early access to my videos. We have a monthly live stream. There is an exclusive writing group just for patrons. You also get signed books. It's so much fun. I got it linked below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I post new videos on Wednesdays, and if you want to be alerted as soon as I upload, ring that bell. The Savior's Champion and The Savior's Sister are available in ebook, paperback, hardback, and audiobook. So if you like yourself some award-winning dark fantasy romance, definitely check this series out. They're linked below. And be sure to follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram, Tumblr, Facebook, and BookBub. And of course, you can tweet me at Jenna Moreci. Bye!
It's me, Pippa! Have you subscribed to Jenna's channel yet? Oh, you must. It's so much fun. She talks about writing and heroism and romance, and sometimes she says very naughty words, but I rather enjoy it. Subscribe to her channel and ring the bell.